Ladies and gentlemen, Santa Claus has been in the middle of the night. Well, okay, not so much in the middle of the night, but about 7:45 this morning, there was a knock on the door, opened it, and I had a parcel. I had a feeling as soon as I took the parcel what this was, and I am so excited today. And you are going to be likewise. Guys, let's enter the world of atomic physics. But before we do, let's just give those guys at Minitron a big thank you for doing an absolutely superb job for us building those PCBs. Want to take a look at them? We'll show you in just a few seconds. As always, guys, I want to say big thank you to all those people that are supporting us. You know why we're doing this? We're trying to answer those questions. What's taking place right now with our Earth, and why are these big organisations not revealing what they know? Okay, if you want to keep it to yourselves, that's fine. We'll do it on our own. Let's get into it, guys. PCBs look like printed circuit boards, and guys, it couldn't be any more like Christmas Day for me here. I am so excited. Look at this. This is how good of a job Spence did at MIT. Look, he designed the PCB, and what you might think is this is just one PCB. It's actually 3 PCBs. I've got both sides of the PCB so you can have a look at, but this is what they're like when you break them down. They just clip off, these different sections do. But designing it like that is quite smart, because you don't have to have 3 different PCBs built. So as you can see, we're looking at the one side. This is the heart of the operation here. This is where the Pcb'S get bolted on or soldered onto. This is the sensor for the muons. This is the board on the other side, and this is the board broken down into the 3 PCBs. So in total we've had 60. I know they come as a pack like this and you break them off, but we've had 60 PCBs made, and as you can see there's quite a bit of work that's going to get involved in soldering all these different components on. We usually use these are Unos, Arduino Unos. This is the powerhouse of the operation, but they come in different sizes. This is a Pro Mini V2, and this is the actual Arduino that we're going to be using. That's the OLED, so when we look at the screen we're going to see the amount of time that it's been recorded and the amount of muons that it's collected over that period of time on that little LED there, or OLED. And guys, just look at it. You know, I've got to give Spence at MIT, and these was designed at MIT. You can just see there. I'll just zoom in on this so you can see on the silk screen of the board, MIT. And you can just have a little look over the board. It's been beautifully designed. That there is the component for the SD card, micro SD card reader, and that's the other side of the board. And as you can see, this is going to be surface mount resistors and capacitors on there, and you can see by the size of the screwdriver. I've just put my fingernail there. You can see how small the components are that's got to be soldered onto there. We'll just put the little Arduino on there. That's where that's got to go. Obviously it's got to have some legs soldered to it, but that will be there. Then we'll have the OLED on there, and then the Pcb. But it's amazing, isn't it, guys? I'm really excited because I've never had a PCB board manufactured before, and you know, to see this is like really Christmas for me. I mean, we're getting there, aren't we, guys? Our work is not finalised. It's like the Battle of Hastings that's about to happen next, because as you can see, it's going to be a bit of a job to solder all these components on there. And you know, we've got to later on today arrange for this sensor, the Pcb, that's got to go on there, which is the thing that detects very low levels of light. I'm going to show you the actual process of you know, building all these components together, but we've also got to build a simulator that goes over the top of this, and that's got to be handmade. You can't buy them, and you'll see what's involved in that. You know, we've got to use the bandsaw, we've got to cut up some clear acrylic, and we've got to polish the sides of the acrylic after we've cut it. But you know, I think we're going to get there, guys. But I'm just over the moon at the job that's allowed us to get to this level right now. You know, and full credit goes to those at MIT. I know Spence probably did most of the work there, but I do know that there would have been a lot to get to this level, guys, of building these things. There would have been a lot of people involved in this, and you know, I know what it's like. I really do, because I built the magnetometer and the trimag system myself, and you know, it's like I say, I'm emotional about it almost, because I know what it's like to get to this level, and it's a lot of hard work. You know, when you're it's like being in a room on your own in the dark, and you know what you want, but it's trying to get to it, trying to get that thing that you want. It's and no one can help you unless you've got millions of pounds to spend to employ all these different people to build these things. You can't do it. So I know exactly what Spence went through when he built this, designed it. There was a lot of work that went into this, and probably more than one person. So you know, from someone like me who's did it all on his own, I completely appreciate, you know, what we're looking at here. I know to some people these are just circuit boards and, you know, nothing more, but if you're a female, this is a pair of Labatons. If you're a male, this is a chrome holly on a big block. That's what we're dealing with here. And that's the level of excitement I'm at the moment. You know, I'm really pleased that we're here. At the level of atomic physics, that's what these boards are designed to do, detect those particles that make up a simple atom. So, you know, I'm over the moon, guys. And our work's not done yet, because we've got the Pcb'S. There's still quite a few components to actually order. We've got the main components, but this component that gets bolted onto here, the SIPM, is going to be probably the most dearest part of this whole operation. They're not cheap. Spence said that this probably constitutes to 50% of the cost, just the chip that gets bolted onto here or soldered onto here. And you know, that's where we're going to have to you know, raise some bucks to get this all put together. But we've got most of the components on order. We've still got to find a manufacturer that supplies the SIPMs that gets bolted onto here. I've got about 20 phone numbers already for potential suppliers of these, and I'm going to be on the phone later on to those. Hopefully we can get them ordered, and hopefully they don't cost too much. That's the big thing here, guys, is just cost. But at the end of all this, we should have our muon counters, which will answer that question. You know, the question that we set out to answer is how much cosmic radiation is inbound in our atmosphere right now. And these components, as well as a few others, will help answer that question for us. It's been a really exciting morning here at the Mavstar Observatory with the new arrival of our Pcb'S, but the work is still to be done on these, guys. There's a lot of components that got to get soldered onto these boards, and we got a deadline of just over 25 days before at least one of these is completed, so we can put it on that flight and, you know, take advantage of, you know, monitoring what's at ground level as opposed to what's at 40,000 feet for a duration of about 6 hours. You guys know why we're building these muon detectors. It's because we've asked the question, how much cosmic radiation is actually inbound in our atmosphere? Well, we'll be answering that soon. When these PCB boards are completed and the muon detectors are built, they will be going around the world and we'll be collecting information from all these different locations on the amount of cosmic radiation that is inbound. This is questions that these mainstream organisations won't answer. The questions that you have paid with your taxpayers' money to these organisations that will not answer the questions. Remember that. We're on a shoestring budget here, guys. We've got a teeny weeny budget, and yet we are answering questions. The question was asked at what rate the magnetic pole is actually migrating. We built the TriMag 2 years ago to answer that question. We know. Tomorrow in a video I'll give the exact location of the magnetic North Pole along with the longitude and latitude, or the GPS coordinates of that, so you will know firsthand where that is. Another question that was asked is, what is the state of our magnetic field strength, or the magnetosphere strength currently? You know, we built the magnetosphere sensor to answer that question for you, and you know the answer to that. It is remained pretty much the same for the last 15 months. It fluctuates throughout the week, probably about by 2 microteslas, and that's normal. You then asked the question, what was the condition of these high intensity regions are around the world, and we sent magnetometers out to these regions, to California, to Kentucky, to Perth, Australia, the Gold Coast, Hong Kong, and we revealed the information that you wanted to know about them. We've discovered recently a strange anomaly which we're investigating right now, taking place in Perth, and we'll get the answers to you guys as soon as we can. And right now the question to be asked is, how much cosmic radiation is inbound in our atmosphere, and at what points of this Earth is it stronger or weaker? Soon we're going to have the answers to that question as well, guys, and we did it on a shoestring budget. It's been funded by just the public, and it seems that the only way you get answers these days is by finding out yourselves, and we knew that when we started 2 years ago, and we're here right now. You know, we're a teeny weeny observatory, but we're delivering answers, so we're packing a massive punch. But the only reason we're able to do that is because we're crowdfunded, and you know, the only thing that slows us down in this observatory is the funds that we raise. And I know that at some point today there may be a couple of thousand people watch this upload, but the amount of people that will actually, you know, contribute to it, you could count on your hand, guys. You know, we're on the precipice of massive changes that are going to take place on our Earth in the next 4 to 7 years. We know that we are rapidly approaching that point of 40 degrees of total movement or total migration that the magnetic pole has covered in the last 100 years. It's did more so in the last 30 years. It's covered 1,000 miles in 30 years, guys, and it is going to increase in speed. We're seeing some strange activity with the magnetic North Pole right now over the last 4 months that we've not seen in the 2 years that we've been monitoring it. So things are happening, guys. I think it's important for people to be informed, and you know, when you ask questions, you know, the only way to get answers is to, you know, build this equipment and get it out there in the field. So, you know, I'm going to leave this video here, guys. I'm just going to mention the links where you can support us. You know, you can see what we're doing. I think it should be supported by more people, really. And I'm just hoping that, you know, some of you guys that have probably never thought about donating, you know, might consider that now. You can see what levels we're going to answer these questions that these government organisations don't answer. So the links are down there. You can support us on Patreon or PayPal, and it's not mandatory, guys, but the only way we can get answers to these, you know, the questions that we ask is by, you know, doing what we do. So the links are there, guys. It's entirely up to you. You know, you want to support someone that's, you know, going to these extreme levels, you know, to get the answers to you, then the only thing to do is to support it. It's simple as that. I'm going to say what I usually do. You have an amazing week. I'll be back tomorrow with the exact location of the magnetic North Pole, and I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.